So you have to get out there. People want to see, like they say, people invest not in always your product, they invest in you. So if they see you doing what you're doing, it's just getting out there, and people that you don't think that's even watching, watches, because I'll see people that I've been talked to since we probably graduated high school, and they were like, I love what you're doing with Nylanova. And I said, they never commented, they never liked anything, but people are watching.
Hey there, and welcome to the Own Your Brand Show. It's your girl, Victoria Odekomaya, a former drug scientist turned brand photographer and strategist. I am passionate about helping female entrepreneurs and leaders, aka boss ladies, build a bankable personal brand. In my many years working with boss ladies, I found that the problem isn't the lack of expertise. The problem is not knowing how to show up confidently so you can attract the right people effortlessly. This is why we end up spending time chasing the algorithm and keeping up with marketing trends that we have no business doing. Listen, I have created this show so I can share with you the roadmap and give you actionable steps to help you build the brand and business you've always dreamed about. Plus, because we wear multiple hats, yes we do, ladies, I'm bringing on additional experts to help us grow in our personal, physical, and spiritual lives. If you're ready to stop struggling and start flourishing in your God-given calling, girl, you are in the right place. So buckle up and let's go. Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Own Your Brand Show. Look, today I am super excited to have the one and only Nakeisha Washington here with me. Look, this woman, she's a boss lady, and she has been doing incredible things lately to build our brand. I've known her for a couple of years now, and she's poured into me so well, so much so that I'm like, anytime I'm in her presence, I feel inspired. So today I wanted to just kind of listen in and get some ideas of how you can continue to build your brand as well. So for those that don't know who Nakeisha is, she is a owner and founder of Nylanova STEMversity. She is an educator. She takes kids wanting to learn about STEM around the whole country, the whole world, basically, because they've just finished a trip around, you went to Italy, you went to London, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But also here locally in Indiana, like, she's won the first place in pitch contest. She's speaking for EEAI, and she's doing a lot of incredible things. And I'm like, okay, lady, how are you getting all these opportunities? How are you doing all of these things? And how is it impacting your brand and your business? And today, that's what we're going to be breaking down. So come along with us. Yeah. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, friend. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Look, I want to have you for my own selfish reasons too, because
take me.
I'm like, I need to learn and hear from you how you've been doing all of these things, because it's so admirable. So, just tell us a little bit about Nylanova to start with.
Okay. So Nylanova STEMversity is, first of all, Nylanova is our science superhero. She goes around and encourages boys and girls to love STEM. And so those that don't know, that's science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yes.
And so from there, we developed Nylanova STEMversity, which is like the university where we teach pre-K through fourth graders STEM skills, problem-solving skills, critical thinking skills, so they can be successful in school and beyond.
Right.
And so from there, it's just been a joy. We work with families now as well, and we're doing a lot of community engagement activities as well.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
And I know I said earlier on that you just took the kids around the world.
Yes, it wasn't quite around the world yet.
Well, look, it counts around the world.
Yes. So we took our first international STEM venture last summer to London and Paris, and it was just amazing. It's kids that really never got out of their neighborhood, but they were able to see the world. And so that's our goal each year, to do an international trip. So we are looking for sponsors always.
Yeah,
so anybody want to sponsor a child, or donate to their being able to go and do this. But it has such a great impact on them, their families, and the community.
And some of these kids have never been outside of their neighborhood, let alone the country too.
Exactly. So they had to get passports and went through that whole
process,
services and stuff, and then they learned how to go through customs and all of that. And these are things that some people take for granted, because I'm an avid traveler, but I was like, it's not fair for me to experience this and not take those that are enrolled in STEMversity. So
Absolutely. And I know that even on that trip, you had organized some activities that are STEM related too.
Oh yeah, it's definitely STEM related. So we definitely got to sightsee and see everything, but then we saw it through a STEM lens. And so we even worked with like a London detective, and they did like a CSI type of thing and had like the fake body, and they had to figure out who done it and stuff. We went to like the computing museum, like learned about how World War II was stopped through to them decoding codes and stuff and intercepting codes. It was just amazing. And so that's what I want them to see the world, but also see it through a STEM lens and see that they can go into STEM-based careers and they don't have to be the normal ones that they hear about.
Right.
And so we're giving them that exposure.
That's amazing. So how long have you been in business?
So technically, we started with just Nyla Denay Enterprises, which is the parent company, in 2017, and we were just blogging. We started as bloggers, then we became children's book authors, and then 2021 is when we opened up Nylanova STEMversity, and then also the Nylanova Foundation, which is the philanthropic arm, which we are raising funds and money so we can support the families on these adventures, into the programming and different things as well.
That's great. That's great. And so since you've started your business, right? I know when we talked one of the times, like you've talked about how the highs and even the lows. I know.
Yes.
But it started really good, like you were making the money, lady.
Yes, was making the money, then it's But I'll tell anyone that's an entrepreneur, a business owner, someone that's doing it as a side hobby, I wouldn't change that experience for anything because I learned so much.
Right.
And when people say you learn through more when stuff doesn't go right, but you're like, no, that's not. But it's so true because when I was riding high, I just thought it was going to continue to keep going.
Right.
And so then when it started, funding change, different grants change, opportunities got less. But then I learned how to pivot. I learned how to expand some of my reach. And so I learned to develop other types of programming.
Right.
And so you kind of learn through, and I never call it failure. There's always a lesson to be learned. And so you do. And then I'm like, man, I can't wait to really get that trajectory back going because now I see things differently and now I'm prepared. Right. I wasn't prepared before. I was like, oh, yeah, this is great. This is great. And it still is great, but you learn from both experiences.
Okay, so for people, just kind of help us understand that better. So where are some of those opportunities that you had that were bringing in the money?
I was working with a lot of schools and organizations, and they had a lot of grant money, but it was because of COVID.
Right.
And so it was, for the students that had lost some of their, learning during the summer and different things, it was to help them regain some of those things that, you just couldn't teach over Zoom.
Right.
And so I just assumed that schools had this type of funding that was in their budget, but that was just extra.
Right.
And so now we're trying to figure out how can we service schools, service families, and have it included in their budget, or we look for grants as well to help. And so it was just that, everything was going great.
Right.
But then I learned that I had to trim some of my expenses because money was coming in. I didn't, as a business owner, didn't understand about cash flow, revenue, timing. It's all of that. And so when you're just, riding high, you're like, oh, it's going to keep coming in.
Right.
But you don't prepare for when it's not. So I learned about rainy day funds and different things. And so those are all great experiences.
Absolutely.
It hurt. And it was like, hey, what? What's going on?
Right.
But I wouldn't change it for a world. It really was a great learning experience. And I'm kind of glad I learned it early on.
Yes.
Versus been, 5-10 years in and then hit, so now I'm preparing for the long haul. And I'm super excited now to see where we're going to go next.
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell the excitement too,
Yes.
and I know that you've poured so much into me in even where those opportunities are. So now you're pivoting your business because, let's talk about, how you run your business. So you primarily work with education, like in the education community?
Yeah, so we work with, we do STEM enrichment, so any out of school time. So most likely we're gonna work with schools, we're working with like Boys and Girls Club, we're working with like or community centers.
Okay.
And so because they have the students, they have the connection to the family, so we don't have to do a lot of advertising because the kids are there and we go service the kids that are there.
Right.
And so that's been working really well for us. And I like it because then we still get and talk to the families and work with the families, but we're dealing with multiple kids. Like right now, our camp that we're doing, we have like 100 students. So pre-K through 5th grade. And so we're working with those students, and then we get in touch with the families as well. So that's what we're doing.
That's amazing. So now, so does your business is it seasonal? Like we do.
And see, right now it is seasonal. So we are trying to work with it to be more, sustainable throughout the school year. We do kind of run it like a university, so we have terms.
Okay.
So we have like the spring term, winter term, fall term, and then our summer term. Okay. And then we work a lot to do the breaks. And so we do activities during like spring break, fall break. So it is very seasonal. But then when we're not in camp, then we're doing other stuff where we're taking those what we call STEMventures, those trips. Okay. And then now we're working with families. It's called the Nylanova STEM Attack Program, which is just taking off. We started at the Children's Museum, and now it's at 3 locations where we're actually working with families through STEM education, but then we talk to them about conflict resolution, gun violence prevention, health and wellness. And so now we're not just working with the student, we're working with the family, which is helping build the community.
Wow. Okay, I want to get into some of those unique opportunities that you have lately. But
Yes.
before we go there, I want to acknowledge that I feel like you do a great job putting the things that you're doing out there. A lot of small business owners were so wrapped up in the business or trying to get the next clients that we forget to post. We forget to share the news. And I think you do such a wonderful job of that.
I wouldn't say wonderful, but thank you.
No, because that's how I learn about a lot of these things too.
I know. And it's not all me. I do have a marketing director. I met Brandy back when I was living in Florida when we was just doing books. And so she's helped me grow the brand. So I definitely can't take, all the responsibility. And then now and that's what people think, oh, I got to have it perfect. You don't.
Yeah.
You just, in the moment, take pictures, take video, post them. People like that raw footage.
Yes.
People like to see you in action. It doesn't have to be all cleaned up. You don't have to have all these wonderful captions. Sometimes I just post a picture and say, Nylanova STEM. Yeah. And then I catch, because I'm on the go all the time. And there's still like stuff that I did last week I haven't posted yet. And I'm like, okay, I got to stop and post.
Right.
And so you have to get out there. People want to see you. Like they say, people invest not in always your product, they invest in you. So if they see you doing what you're doing, like some people don't even know my name or know Nylanova. They just see me and they'll go to STEM lady.
Yes.
And I answer, I'll be the STEM lady. So it's just getting out there, and people that you don't think that's even watching, watches, because I'll see people that I've been talked to since we probably graduated high school, and they were like, I love what you're doing with Nylanova. And I said, they never commented. They never liked anything, but people are watching.
They are watching.
So even if you don't get a lot of likes, you don't get a lot of followers, people are watching, and you'll be surprised that you don't see it, but they're watching. They're watching.
I like that a lot. I really do. And I feel like you've just really like what you just said right now, I feel like I hope it helps somebody to make it seamless. You don't need it to be all perfect to make it look all like I use ChatGPT a lot.
I was gonna say that.
Like
for my little the copyright, like with the post. I used to have someone write all that. Now I just put it in there. I need a Monday motivation post. And once you use AI, since we are STEM,
right.
It learns your voice. And you can teach it your voice. So it's you. You doesn't sound robotic. It's you putting the things out there and stuff.
I mean, those things are so advanced now. Like you said, I've told it who my target audience are, my voice, the things that I like and things like that. So I usually would just say, I'm trying to write this. I write it almost like in bullet points. And I say, like, make it sound good. You know? And then it takes
upload some stuff that sounds like gibberish to me, and it prints it out. I was like, oh, I sound good.
Yeah.
Let's use that.
Like that.
So, yes.
Oh my goodness. So, okay. A lot of opportunities are coming to you, and I don't even know if you feel like it's partly because you're putting yourself out there, or maybe there's other things. What do you feel? How do you feel?
So a lot of things, it's so funny when people, and this is something I have to tell entrepreneurs, small business owners, some of the things that people see that I'm doing, I've probably applied to it or found out about it 6 months ago. And so it becomes new to, my audience, but it's something that I planted that seed 6 months ago. So you always are looking for the next thing. So like I'm in different business training programs. I applied for pitch contests. That was almost like 5-6 months ago. And sometimes I forget about the thing. And they're like, congratulations, you're selected. I was like, oh, I forgot. And so now I have to keep a list of things, but you have to be proactive. Like, you want to build the business, but it won't go anywhere if no one knows about it.
Right.
And if you're not connecting, networking is key. You have to get out there because people will tell me stuff. And they're like, did you know about such and such? I'm like, hold up. I put it on my little task manager and I'll go back and look at it later.
Right.
But never give up an opportunity. When someone says something, write it down, go back to it, find out about it. And so, like I said, a lot of things people are seeing, like, you're doing this. I was like, yeah, but I applied 6 months ago or even a year ago and didn't even think anything about it.
Right.
And then it comes, it happens. So you got to constantly be putting out there, looking for the next thing, aligning it with your brand.
I was gonna say,
because you can't just apply for everything. If it doesn't align with your brand, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
It's a waste of time.
Right.
And some people are like, you got to do everything. You want to do things intentional.
Right.
And be strategic about it because you'll spread yourself too thin.
Absolutely.
And you'll water down your brand. And so when people are like, well, what is she doing? Is she selling this? Or is she doing this? Is she doing... Like, you want to be known for one thing. And so that's me, small business owner, STEM education, empowering women, especially women of color. So that's my brand.
Right.
And so when they see me, they know I'm promoting one of those things.
Right.
And there's no question. Now they don't... Like, if I start saying, nothing against any other... occupation or a business, but if they're like, but when did she start doing that?
Right.
And then they're like, oh, she's doing too much. You want your brand to be very powerful,
don't want to confuse
and
people.
You don't want to confuse people, and so you
Right.
got to have those key things. I said, be known for top 3 things.
Right.
So people know you and they see you. They don't, when you're at some place, they're like, oh, she's here for that, or she's here for that.
Okay, so be intentional, know where you're going, and then stick to your brand. Like, stick to
your
opportunities.
brand. Colors,
that
you're always gonna see me in some pink, some teal, some purple. That's my brand colors.
Right.
So you always, they're like, oh, there she goes. So they see me in pink, it just resonates with it, triggers.
Yes.
So you just kind of want to stay consistent,
That's
consistent. Because I tell people, normally I have stuff that says STEMversity on, but I want to get dressed up and be cute today. But I'm just saying, like, they want to, you recognize your brand awareness. And so you want them to recognize what you do every time they see you. You want it to click, or they even just think about it. So you just have to, you're the walking billboard.
Absolutely.
You're your walking brand, you're your walking billboard. Sometimes you don't even have to post. You can just be there. Or when you take pictures with someone and someone sees you in that picture, they're like, I know those colors. I know what
Right.
So you just always doing stuff intentionally.
I love that intentionality, and then I feel like, and again, nothing against. Oh my God, I probably shouldn't say this, but what I was gonna say in a better way is that you said it right. You're the walking billboard. So even if you have someone doing your marketing, you have to be intentional about it. You have to want to do it. You have to think about ways that you can do it, like showing up. Like, look, I think you're such you are a good poster child for doing this, because I know you have a marketing person, but you also put in efforts intentionally.
Yes,
too.
it has to be you. Some people are like, well, I don't like being in front of the camera. I don't like this. You have to do something because it's your brand. People want to buy into you.
Right.
Some people are like, well, I'll be have a faceless brand. And, if you're doing more e-commerce, you're selling a product, that may work.
Right.
But when you want people to buy your service, they have to see you. They have to see how you show up, because how can they believe in you or like want to purchase your services if they never see you doing your services?
Right.
So you can't say, I'm this person, and then they never see it.
Right.
And so, like you said, you have to show up. Like, I used to do more lives. It just got too busy, but I'm always trying to post a video or a picture or something just to tell people, hey, I'm still out here. So you have to find out what you're comfortable with doing, and then build that confidence, and then also what's easiest for you.
Right.
And then when you do have more time, then devote that time, but don't just go dormant.
Right.
Even if you take a vacation, like some people take vacations, they like, well, I'm gonna get away from social media for a week. Plan your post. Plan your post. You might be away from it, but you should never let it just die down,
Right.
because that momentum you're building up will die down too, especially
Right.
with the algorithms and stuff.
I was getting
You got to keep it going. People want to see you. So plan your post. You don't even have to man it, but you can be gone away from it from a week.
Wow. Okay, so were you ever nervous in the beginning about posting or being on camera?
Yes, all the time.
So
and it's just, but it came natural.
Okay.
And first of all, I'm a people person. I love to talk. And I've been a teacher.
And you look good on camera too.
Thank you. I've been a teacher for over 20 years. So I had to learn early on to get in front of a crowd that don't know me, that especially when you got middle schoolers, they're a little hostile. So I had to learn how to be comical and like warm and kind of get engaging with them. So I've been having 20-year practice. So it's not like it happened overnight. Right. So if you worked in an office or you never really had to speak in front of a crowd, it can't be intimidating. But practice, practice, practice. That's the only way you're going to get better. That's the only way.
Okay. So just basically keep practicing in front of the camera, in front of the mirror or something like that. And okay.
Yep, and do it in front of people that you that can encourage you and inspire you. Because when I talk, I always look in the crowd, and if it's my mom or family members or someone, or even just people, I see someone, like one person might be nodding their head like in agreement of what I'm saying, then I kind of focus on that person because they're giving me that positive energy, like they understand what I'm saying, and it makes me more comfortable. And then if I see somebody that's kind of, I'm like, I'm not gonna look at that person. I'm gonna look at that person. Like you have to just pick your people out, and then it'll get easier and easier.
Okay. Okay. So in the conversation before we started this recording, you've given me even so many ideas and opportunities that are out there that you're like, go to do the botlight.
Yes.
So, and you said some of these opportunities you've started them several years ago. Let's break down some of them. So the pitch contest, like how did that all start?
Well, it's so funny. And you actually was there when we went to the Joy of You by Sunny Lou. She had a program, and me and you went, and then I met Kendria Williams, who's over the pitch fees. And we just met her when we was getting our nice little shrimp. Remember that?
You we invited me to the yard.
Yeah, and them chocolate covered strawberries. And so we were just talking. And like you say, seeds get planted that you don't even realize.
Right.
And so maybe this was probably a year ago, 2 years ago. And I saw someone was saying, hey, there's a pitch contest coming up. And I was like, I've never done a pitch contest. Let me try it. And so I applied, still not making the connections. That's her program.
Right.
And so then when the first day they selected you and you had to go there, and I saw her and we both looked, and she was like, I forgot you were Nylanova. And so she picked me, well, her team, it's a team that picked us based on the strength of like our website and our application, but we never did put that connection together. And now we're like yes, and stuff.
Right.
So it's those planting seeds, meeting people, write down what they do. And then when someone mentions stuff, like I say, if I can't look it up then, I look it up later, and then I apply. And now with ChatGPT and different things like that, it's easier to write these proposals. It's easier to write this. It's still my voice. It's still my ideas. But it just it's a lot less time because it organizes in a way that's really feasible.
Right.
And so I've just been applying for that. I've been getting grants that way.
Wow.
I've been reaching out to foundations now because now I have the confidence because I'm speaking their language now and stuff.
Right. So, wow. And so you're speaking coming up too, right? Tell us about that.
So a year ago, I had spoke at this particular conference, but I had a partner, me and Steve Widow. We had did like how to use his gamification with environmental science. And so we both had spoke about that. And then I didn't realize they were doing it again. It's a yearly conference. And someone I had went to this eco-science challenge at Indiana State Museum, and I was a judge. And they were like, hey, we got the conference coming up in November. You should apply. And I said, okay, to be a speaker, and it's going to be at the zoo. I said, well, I love the zoo. I could be at the zoo. And so I just seen what they were, the 5 categories. And one is one of the things I love, preschool, trying to get them, and it's about nature and space. And so creating preschool nature spaces out there so kids can really come out and enjoy nature. And so that's what I'm going to be speaking on in November.
Wow.
And so they just sent to say, congratulations, you've been selected. And I'm like,
my goodness.
So another thing that adds to my portfolio, because I'm really trying to build my speaking brand part up, because now I'm like, I've been putting in the work. I'm a thought leader, now it's like, how do I transform those skills into something larger where I can have my own platform and still my brand, but now I can, start local conferences and then become nation and international,
amazing.
and that's one of the things I want to do.
I think I love your intentionality. I feel like you have a vision of where you're going, what you want, and you're doing everything you know and can do to make that happen. And I think that's what, honestly, I just did a podcast about that. And I think it's so important that business owners kind of think like that.
Yes.
If you have to kind of have an idea of where you're going, even if it's not completely clear, I think that's why we also do those vision boards and things like that.
I was just going to say, you have to be the visionary for your business. And it may change because when I started 5 years ago, my vision board and my vision looked differently, but those challenges, those things that shape. And then I always tell people, what is your perfect day? What does your perfect week look like? What is your perfect month? And then you create your business around that. Because there's some stuff that in people's businesses that they don't like, but they're spending the bulk of their time. No, you hire someone for that.
Right.
You pick what your like today, I could come here, sit with you. I'm gonna go somewhere else and do something at Butler University. Then in the afternoon, I'm gonna put my lab coat on and I'm gonna be doing STEM at the camp.
Right.
So my whole day, but I get to create that. And it takes time, but you find out what you love and then see what would I want to do in the future. And then you plan those different steps of how to get there. And then like you said, you've been intentional, because I'm like 3 years from now, I want to be, on a stage in Rome talking about this, in Paris, and Italy, but I have to start here in Indianapolis. And so that's what people wanted. They see that, but they don't see you got to start these smaller steps and stuff. But always have the big picture in mind.
Always have the big picture in mind. Wow. Okay, you are also in the zoo, which when I heard that, this has been a year, at least 2 now. And I was like, like setting up in the zoo, doing all of these things. Oh, Children's Museum, Children's Museum. So that's a big deal. And how did that come about?
They just, one of the things, someone I guess someone posted about our books in like a local newspaper.
Do you know how that person got to know about your? Okay, wow.
I have no idea. I didn't even know it was in there.
Wow.
And someone from the Children's Museum saw it and reached out to us, and then from that local paper, we were asked to come on the news.
Wow.
And then just that, people seeing us, and that's why I say, you never know. Like that, the same book that I've been selling for 6 years now is still getting notoriety. It's still getting me into doors.
Wow.
Don't give up on your product.
Amen.
Because you may not be getting sales right away. Continue to sell it. Continue to use that as to get into the door. That's what we've been doing. It's the same book. We've added 3 or 4 more books since then. But though it's still the premise that first book is still getting us on the news. It's still getting us into locations. It's still helping us win pitch contests.
Wow.
Like, don't give up on your product, especially when you know that's the vision that you have for yourself. And someone, because they're not buying it at the beginning, don't mean it won't become big later.
Right. You have to autograph one of the books.
Thank you. I will. I should have brought the new one. The STEM Travel Journal is amazing. It got little activities for even adults were buying the book. They were like, I could do this on a road trip and different things. And then they can document what's going on their trip and stuff. So
wow. Look, I'm sitting out here in awe of you. Like, you've been on TV.
Look, I tell people, but they don't see me at night up crying. I don't know, is this yours? Right? And my poor husband, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, because truthfully, I always say it's like building a plane in the mid-air and you're trying to build it before it hits the ground. That's entrepreneurship.
Right.
And so you're trying things that may work, that may not work. But you have to be flexible and you have to pivot.
Right.
Because if you hold on to something too long, you might hit the ground and crash. So if you see it's not working, I'm not saying get rid of it completely, but you got to try something different at this time to stay afloat.
So how do you determine that point where you make it, like a pivot?
Well, when you try something long enough and you're like, this is not working, or you're like, I'm gonna come back to this, because there's a lot of things that I still want to do with the business, but it wasn't the right time.
Okay, let me ask that question specifically. Okay. So you just talked about your first book, and you've been selling it for 6 years, right? And it sounds like now is when it's now giving you a lot more opportunities. So did you stop selling it, or like were you just kept
Well,
selling
I have
it?
more visibility now.
Okay.
And so when I was first selling it, we were just children's book authors. So it was like if you see me on, in the local library, or you saw me, at Barnes and Noble's doing it was just so local. But now it's me taking advantage of social media, me going to different networking events, me having a table at the Children's Museum, so now the visibility. So, and then it's so funny. Some people are like, I know that book. I know, so now it's getting out there and stuff.
good.
So just having more visibility.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
But like I didn't give up on it, and now you just keep adding. I'm adding other books, adding other things, STEM kits, all those things to go around it, surround the product. And so, but it's still the brand. And so I want to say one thing, and I know it's all script, but people always say have different streams of revenue. You can have the same product, the same brand, and have different streams. You don't have to get 7 different businesses. And that's a misnomer. Some people are like, oh, I got to sell this and this and this. I started with the children's book. I'm still doing the children's book, but then I created a children's program around it. And then I'm also now I have children's trips. Then I have children's STEM kits. And so it's the same brand, it's the same product. I got 7 different streams of revenue that can come in, but it's still my brand. So I don't have to water my brand down and like, okay, now let me go over here and sell food. And let me go over here and do this. And now I got to have 5 different business names. The same name, but just different arms of it to bring in grants over here, sponsors over here, client pay here. Find 7 different ways that you can make money from your brand. And like we were just saying, content creation. Keep it coming. There's different ways, but if you're like watering down your brand because you're doing 5 and 6 different things, do the same thing, just find different ways of selling it or making it available to your audience.
I love that. It's like you have to be focused.
Because
if you're not focusing,
it's going to pull you
in
to
so different
ways.
And I like that. Because and I think that might be something to, I hope, set somebody, free where like when you are pulled in multiple different directions, but then you're like, but why is it not working? Maybe because you're being pulled in multiple different directions.
And we all have several different gifts. I don't believe one person has one specific gift, but you have to make those gifts work for you. And then for me, when I started seeing that the book was starting to get some traction, then I started to program it. But the programming took us off. Like I'm able to do this full time now, not because of the books, but because of the programming. But it's all together. And so you have to figure that out. But if you're starting to get pulled in 18 different directions, you're going to get exhausted. You don't have no focus. You can use all your gifts for that one particular brand, but use it in different ways. And so that'll make you more successful. And I tell people, don't spread yourself thin.
Because we already wear too many hats as business owners anyway.
So why you're trying to do something different? I just have different things under the umbrella. But they're all Nylanova. Nylanova STEM Aquatics, Nylanova STEM Attack, Nylanova STEM Lit. They're all based on Nylanova, the science superhero, but it's her doing different programmings and dealing with different audience. This one is for families. This one is straightly for preschool. This one is for elementary. This is for us traveling with families. But it's still Nylanova, the brand.
Wow. Okay. As you were just talking, I just saw you sitting on TV, like on CNN,
we're
ABC,
trying. We're
and all
there,
of that. Like,
so if anybody has a contact, we know we're available.
No, like I literally just saw that vision.
Come on, Vision. Come on through.
Oh my God. Probably shouldn't have said that on school. But anyway.
No, come on.
Like
we're going. Because I always say it's bigger than me. It's definitely a movement. Even me and Nyla got a little hand signal. We be like, we're community builders. And the building part is that it's more than just us. We're not doing this just for us. We're doing it for generations to come. And so we have to inspire. We can't wait till kids are in middle school, high school, and say, you can be great. You can be the STEM superhero. We're going as 3 years old. They're talking about chemical reactions and they're learning about different biology terms and different aviation in kindergarten. Like we have to be intentional on starting early. And so it's bigger than us. Absolutely. And so when we're involving families, we're involving churches, we're involving community centers, it's going to build the community. And like you said, we're going to be on CNN. We're going to be on Good Morning America.
Absolutely.
Just because it's not just about Nakeisha Washington and Nylanova STEM. It's about the community coming together to say, we want more for our families. We want more for our students.
That's good. God,
Come
look
on,
at
John.
you. Wow. And so you have an event. Oh, you're going to be at the Black Expo.
Yes, and I forgot the booth number, but guys, come out and see us. We're going to be at the Black Expo all weekend. They moved it up. It used to be at the end of July. Now it's the end of June. And so we're going to be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday selling our books, but also letting people learn more about our brand, all the different offerings. We have signing people up. We're always looking for volunteers and sponsors and different things, and so we'll be there. And we're actually going to be at Newfields on Tuesday for the Get On Board. I forgot about that. Where we're looking for new board members to join Nylanova Foundation because our founding board members, this is the end of their term, and they've done what they can, and now we're want more community partners to join the board so we can grow it even faster and more intentional as well.
And what are you looking for in your board members?
So we're looking for people to have connections to the community. The Nylanova Foundation is primarily there to raise funding for our 3 initiatives: STEM discovery, exploration, and literacy. So if someone has experience or is really good in fund development, like being able to go out there and do fundraisers and have connections. But we also looking for people to network and grow and tell others about the what they're doing, not just me. Like we need more people out there and to show the importance of STEM education at an early age.
That's good. That's so good.
Thank you. So you want to be a board member? Reach out to us. We're looking for board members, volunteers, just to really get the word out there.
Wow. Girl, every time I sit with you,
because I'm in the midst of greatness as well. Look. So come on now, we're gonna do this.
Yes. Thank you so much for just being raw, being honest, and willing to share. I don't think that a lot of people are willing to share the ups and downs or the opportunities too.
I talk about it all the time because I feel like it was given to me. I don't want anyone else to have to bump their heads and to learn from it and understand if they do bump their head, it's a learning experience.
Right.
Don't stop because you bump your head. You might slow down, you might change direction a little bit, but don't stop. Because if you stop, it's always that little picture they show on Facebook and the little man like chunking away and then like the gold on the other side and then he gives up. And if he would have just hit it one more time, he would have had it. And so I'm like, I'm not giving up. I told my husband, there's no plan B.
Right.
This is it. And when you put your mind to that and you say there's no plan B, I have to make this work. You're going to figure it out and do everything in your humanly possibly you can to make it happen. And then when you realize it's above you or you need extra help, you seek that extra help.
That's right. Okay, speaking of help, everything you've said so far make you look like Superwoman, but I know that you have mentors, you have teams, to help you. Tell us a little bit about how your mentors, maybe coaches, how they're like helping you continue on. And
so I have, and everyone knows the amazing, if you don't know, you have to know her, Caroline Mays. She's amazing. And I'm in part of her Black Legacies and Leaders program, and it's basically taking Black women that are leaders in their careers or entrepreneurs, and she really pours into us once a month. We get speakers that come in just to tell us about their experience, and it's like giving us nuggets about how to run a business successfully, how to be in your career and be at the top, overcome challenges. And so she's a great mentor. Like I said, Sonny Lou Williams, I was just with her at a golfing event, and just on the golf course. I never played golf before, but she was pouring into me about how to, deal with certain challenges and how to deal with certain people. So I actively seek out those that I see doing what I want to do. Amen. And then they are willing to bring me along.
That's good.
And so anytime they're having something, I'm supporting them. You can't always want someone to support you.
Right.
They have something, I'm there. If it calls, I will find the money.
Right.
If it's just for me to sit there, I will be there. And so you can't learn if you're not in the room. And we always talk about, I want to be at the table. I want to be at the table. But you have to bring something to the table.
Right.
And sometimes you got to sit at the little kids' table until you get to the big table.
That's good.
But you got to be patient. And you have to be able to work it. Like, you can't just expect it. Some people are like, success overnight. There's no such thing as success overnight.
Yeah.
We see that person just eventually become successful, but I guarantee you they have a story. They have a story.
Girl, you are so wise.
I know. It's just experience. It's kick my butt. And it teaches you. Like they say, experience is the best teacher. It teaches.
It is.
And that's what I was just telling you earlier. I've taken my business to what I've known how to get. But now I'm looking for business coaches and business mentors, because you don't know what you don't know.
That's right.
And I have gaps that I need filled. And I mean, I can sit and study, but then the business will like falter. So I need someone to come in right now and say, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. And so I'm actively seeking those people out.
I love that.
And so you have to do that. You have to realize when you have reached what you can do, you can still be that visionary, but you need someone that has operational, that has managed, have production, those types of skills to come alongside you.
That's really good. Wow, girl. So where can we buy these books and some of your other products?
Everything is on NylaNovaSTEM.com.
Okay.
All our social media, Nylanova, Nova, STEM.com, or at. And that's where we are. We are really getting out there in the community. We're doing things. I'm so glad that we're getting brand awareness. People are seeing us and like, oh, there they go.
Yeah.
And so it's not just me. Like she said, I have a team. I have a chief of staff, a CFO. We have a lot of instructors that we call professors. They're out there spreading the good news. We have people that are doing our finance. We have people that's behind the scenes creating our curriculum, doing the workbooks. And so, yeah. So
okay, I have to ask, I was going to end this, but I have to ask one more question.
Come on.
So you have all of this team, and I think that for someone out there, they're probably thinking about the cost of all of that.
Yes.
Like, how do you go about even starting to have a team? Because it's a lot to do on your own, right?
Yes.
But like, the value of what that other people bring. Like, how do you even venture into all of that?
So you always remember ROI. Return of investment.
Yeah.
So I always look at where my gaps are. And I'm like, okay, what I can't do, and now what AI can't do for me, because I need that human touch.
Right.
And so then I'm looking for those types of skills. And then I find those people and I tell them, hey, this is all I can pay right now. But if you see the vision and stuff, they may say, I'll work for you for 5 hours a week.
Okay.
And, and I'm like, okay, we got to put that in the budget.
Right.
And so I'm like, that's how many books I got to sell. Or I got to get this many programs so I can pay for this person.
Right.
But if that person is going to bring double the value that I just paid for them, it's a win-win. But you have to be able to, not everybody's ready to bring on extra staff. And what I say is, decide how much you can afford and try to find someone that has those skill sets that can help, and let them know I can only afford 2 hours a week. And you'll be amazed that with those 2 hours, they can get a lot done that's going to take things off your plate.
I like that.
And they're going to bring that return of investment. And then as you grow, you'll be able to start adding. Because I didn't start with 12 instructors and this and this. I started with just me. Then I voluntold my mom, you're helping.
Voluntold your mom.
Voluntold my son, let's go.
Yeah.
And so you have to do that. And then now we were able to start hiring people outside the family, but you have to start with the resources around you.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh my God, girl, you are doing it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ernest. She is amazing. Subscribe. I love the podcast. I listen to it because not just me, there's so many influential people you have on here that are dropping gems, and because we have to help each other.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you learn from others.
Yes.
And everyone has a story to tell. They have like nuggets to give out, and you have to soak that stuff up. You have to soak it up.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming. Oh my God.
Yeah.
All of the links and everything that we've talked about everything that we talked about will be in the comments. You already know how that goes. Thank you again so much, Nakeisha.
Thank you,
coming.
Victoria, my friend, my sister.
Yes, thank you.
My business bestie.
Yes.
Yes. We're in this together.
Yes.
And I tell everyone, it's like what is the saying? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, build a team, go together. And so you have to do it together because you can't do it by yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Until next time, look into your business and see how you can bring others along. Even doesn't have to be full time, but just a little bit
And
here
some
and
people
there.
will volunteer hours, get interns that just want to learn, and so they'll work for free. And knowing that they'll get exposure, you tell them you put their name on stuff. There's all types of ideas.
Right.
And you get creative when you don't have a lot of money. So
Right,
get creative.
true, yeah. But I think it also begins with having a focus and being intentional too. So until next time, be focused and be intentional.
Yes.